Just to be clear, we're not talking about tariffs. We're talking about export controls. And the export controls are designed to prevent certain sensitive technologies that could have a dual use, potential military as well as consumer application from going to China. And this goes all the way back to 2019. The first Trump administration placed a ban on extreme ultraviolet lithography equipment going to China. This is the key technology in the printing of transistors on the silicon wafer in the semiconductor manufacturing process. And there's only one company in the world that makes these machines. They cost like $200 million. It's called ASML. It's a company in the Netherlands. In any event, the first Trump administration prevented these machines from going to China, which I think in hindsight was a really far-sighted decision. Because if it weren't for that, China might today be dominating global manufacturing of semiconductors, and their inability to get that sort of lithography equipment, I think, definitely put a dent in their plans. Subsequent to that, in 2022, the Biden administration started adding leading-edge chips to the export control list, like you said, the H100. NVIDIA then designed a new chip that was basically a version of the H100, but they reduced the amount of flops or computational power just below the thresholds they could continue selling to China. That was called the H800. The Biden administration then added the H800 to the export control list in 2023. So NVIDIA developed the H20, which again is kind of like a Nerf version of the H100, just has less computational power. I think the issue is that flops isn't the only criteria by which you can measure the power of a chip. There's also now memory bandwidth. And in the new paradigm of reinforcement learning and test time compute, memory bandwidth actually matters more than the amount of flops. And if you look at the memory bandwidth on the H20, it actually has 20% more memory bandwidth than the H100. So I think there's a view that this chip is just frankly too good. And the response I'd have to people who don't think we should be restricting this is, are you against export controls in general, or you just think that we're drawing the line in the wrong place here? Because, I've heard folks like our friends like Bill Gurley and so forth say that
I was about to pull
that we're making a mistake. But I think the question for those people is, would you sell them everything? I mean, if China wanted to buy the latest NVIDIA chip, the GB200, would you sell that to them? Would you sell them a million of those? Would you sell them 5 million if they're willing to pay a premium? It seems to me that at some point you have to say that some technologies are just too sensitive to be sold to China.